Hi everyone, this is a brief tutorial to walk you through the website for the Catskill Choral Society. The first thing I'm going to do is go to my address bar at the top and type in www.catskillchoralsociety.com. Don't worry if it doesn't have the www, just catskillchoralsociety.com should work just fine. That brings you to our main homepage. This is the homepage that is open to the public that anybody can see. But what's a great treasure trove for us is all of the material that's here in our members section. So if you go to the right side of the page, click on the members section link and type in the password. Now the password, which is not to be shared with the general public, just to keep between us friends, is the number 4, the number 0 for 40, more, M-O-R-E, years, Y-E-A-R-S. And that's because when this website was started, we were just celebrating our 40th anniversary, so we hope to have 40 more years of singing, hopefully with you. Now this brings us to all of this information that John Willis and Kirsten Green and John Jurgensen have worked very hard to get up here for us, and I know there's a lot. So first thing I'm going to point out to you is in the upper right corner. If you have not yet paid your dues are due, and our dues this semester are $50. So you can pay through PayPal or give a check to our treasurer when you see her in person. But I'm here to walk you through the other links on this webpage too. First thing I'm going to point out is this cyber-based version for the Liebeslieder. So we've got one for the Liebeslieder and one for the new Liebeslieder. Both of these cyber-based versions work the same. So I'm going to click on the cyber-based version, and this brings us to this web page where it seems like there's a lot going on. But what the cyber-base is it's computer-generated sounds that each emphasize each specific part. So for example, I'm a tenor. So if I want to hear the Am Geisten Rausch die Flut, I'm sorry if I'm butchering the German, I'm going to click on my part over here with the tenor, and it's going to play the piece with the tenor part emphasized, the soprano, alto, and bass parts de-emphasized. So I could still hear them if I listen very closely, but my part is going to be emphasized. So if I click this link, it's going to pop up and start playing. And I don't think you can hear this. But in any case, it's going to play in this player down here. What's nice about this is if you want to make it a little bit slower, you can click on this link for slower, and if you look down here, it changes the speed. And if you're really struggling with a part, you can fast forward to a certain area, make it a little bit slower, and that will emphasize your part, and it's a really good learning tool. Now, if you're not a tenor, you're not going to click on the tenor part unless you really want to hear what the tenors are doing in any specific location. If you're an alto, you're going to click on the alto part and soprano and otherwise as appropriate. Tutti is the Italian word for everyone. So if you hear that in rehearsal or you click that on the screen, that's going to be a recording where none of the parts is particularly emphasized, and that's just the overall sound. So this is great if you're just trying to learn a certain part, just want to go a little bit slowly. Maybe you don't have the piano skills. I don't have the piano skills to play very fluidly any of this material. It's quite difficult. So this is just a great way to bring sort of a quasi sort of piano into your home. So that's the cyber base. I'm going to go back to the main web page and point out some other links. If you look down here, the Gardner Monteverdi choir version, if you click on that link, that's going to bring you to a YouTube page. And that YouTube page has, and I'm going to hit pause really quickly, dismiss some of the pop-up ads here, but this YouTube page has a recording of a choir actually singing it. So the cyber bass is going to be just notes that are playing, but here you can actually see how the choir sings it, how some of the words are pronounced for those of you who are working through some of the language. That's going to be a helpful resource for you. And again, you can pause, you can rewind down here, you can skip ahead. So this is actually a pretty good resource to have as well. Going back to the members page, if you look down here, the German language section, so not every piece of music has a Cyberbase version. And so with Cyberbase, they've only got certain pieces of music, but we're singing some other ones that John Jurgensen has actually played on piano, all of these pieces emphasizing various parts. So he had to go through each piece and play each one at least 4 times. So thank you very much for all of that work, John. I'm going to click here. I don't want to give any preference to any one part, so I haven't called out the bases yet. I'll click on the base link, and this gives, you could see there's about 15 different pieces here with the title here, and you're going to double click on these, and it should open up. So let's go to Der Abend here for the base. I'm going to double click on this MP3. And it just pops up right in my web browser, a recording here. And you can't hear it through my recording device here, but if you pull it up on your computer, you should be able to hear a recording, in this case, with the bass line emphasized because I clicked on the bass link. So this Google Drive only has the things for the basses. If I accidentally clicked on bass, but I really meant to click on soprano, I have to go back to the web page, click on the soprano link, and then up it pops, you can see SOP stands for soprano. So I'll double click, and here we go here. Now, if you're having trouble hearing the sound on your own computer, one thing that I've noticed is make sure to turn your volume up. That's one thing. The other thing is there's another volume here. So if either one of those volumes is down to 0, you're not going to be able to hear. So you got to make sure your volume here is at an acceptable level, and your volume in the lower part of the screen, that's at an acceptable level. So on my computer, I've got the new Windows 11. My volume is up at 91. The older I get, the harder it is to hear, so I got to keep my volume nice and high. And I've got my volume up here. If it were down to here, you could see that X through the speaker. That means you're muted, so you won't be able to hear anything. So make sure that you've got some sound there. All right, so I'm going to go back to the main page here. So thank you, John, again for recording all of that on piano. We also have some links to the spoken German that Kirsten Green has graciously provided to us. Right now, it's just the 2 pieces, Nächtens and Abendlied. But if you click on those links, again, it pops up a player within your web browser. And you want to make sure that this little speaker here doesn't have a line through it that would indicate that it's muted. So make sure that the volume is up here as well as in the lower right corner. And you'll hear Kirsten correcting my pronunciation of the word Nächtens to something that sounds more properly German than I am able to produce on my own. Okay, so let's go back here. I think we're running towards the end here. There are some other links to some of the other pieces. There's what John calls a karaoke version. So what that means is it's not a choir singing, but it's just notes and music in the background. So if you click on that, that also takes you to YouTube, and you could see the what's nice about some of these recordings on YouTube is you can see the music just right in the screen here, and you can sing along, and the other parts will be going along in the background, or the piano music is going on in the background. Sorry, so you don't get the soprano, the alto, the tenor, the bass, you just get the piano, which hopefully, if you're able to sing with just the piano, then hopefully that means when we all come together and we sing, you're fully prepared knowing your own part. Because you're not fully relying on other parts as a crutch. I say this not to scold or chide. I'm also reminding myself because I do that far often than I really ought to. And then lastly, you'll notice at the bottom of the page some links to the choral selections for our May concert. So Ben-Hur, The Mission, Lord of the Rings, these are going to pull you to some other YouTube recordings of the pieces that we will be singing for our May concert. So if you're looking ahead, that's great, but don't stress about this too much. We don't even have the music for it yet. But if you're really just looking to see a preview of what we're doing, I encourage you to check this out. One more note at the bottom is your section leaders. And so for those of you who are new to the choir, the section leaders do kind of a double role here. The most visible role, and I'm the tenor section leader, the most visible role that the tenor section leader takes is I take the attendance for the tenor section. So if any of the tenors are going to miss a rehearsal, the idea is that they send me an email. And my email, well, for me, it's just chris.karmoski@gmail.com. For me, it's fairly simple. But the idea is you get in touch with your section leader if you have to miss for an absence that you know is coming. You know, we're going on vacation, or I've got a family thing that's happening and I can't make it to rehearsal. Just let your section leader know. The other thing, and maybe this is a little bit less visible because you could see us with the clipboards, but we're also intended to be a resource if you have any questions. So if it's rehearsal and you need clarification on what does Rob mean by this, and maybe it's a question you don't want to ask Rob in front of everybody, then you can ask your section leader either during the rehearsal or at break or at the end of rehearsal. What did he mean by that? Or what's the plan for such and such? Or who do I talk to about wardrobe? Hopefully some of those questions are already being dealt with in your world, but we're there as a resource and to be able to be a presence that hopefully is a little bit less intimidating than asking a question in front of everybody. So I hope this tutorial was useful, and please let me know if you have any questions. I'm always available for email. My email address is right here, chris.karmoski@gmail.com. And if you have other questions about the website, I'll be glad to answer them. But keep working on everything, and as always, it's a pleasure singing with you all. You all sound wonderful, and keep practicing. Let's make this a great concert.